Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Everything About Coding. Now in the previous video we had just started with the Django and we are going to develop a AI application, a completely online web application by which the user can generate the blogs automatically using the OpenAI, and then this blog will get uploaded into their WordPress website. Everything is going to be it is going to get done through AI. Now, if you are someone who want to learn about Django, who want to learn about how to use the OpenAI into the Django and develop a completely full-fledged software, then I would suggest please follow this series if you really are eager to learn. Now, in the previous video, we have learned how to set up the Django. So we installed Django and then we installed after installing the Django, we created the project and then we created the app. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to move forward. So without wasting any further time, let's begin. So this is what we are going to do in today's video. That is, we are going to learn how to start the server. We had just created the project and the app. Now we are going to learn how to start the server because this is going to be a web application. So obviously it is the client server architecture that we are dealing into, right? So we need to start a server. So there will be a server and there will be a client. So anybody wants to access the website is going to use the URL, and then that request comes to the server, and then the server is going to process that request and send the data back to the client. This is how the whole thing works, right? So we need a server. So we're going to start the server. Now this is an offline project. So when we start a server, so basically our own computer, right, it is going to act the server and it is going to act as the client as well. So both client and server is going to be the our own computer at this point, right? And then we are going to access the admin panel. In the previous video I had spoke about the admin panel. It Django has its own admin panel, which is pre-made for us, so we can access that and we can perform the basic operations like giving privileges to other user or doing some kind of database operation, right? Then we are going to learn how to create a super user. To use the admin panel you need to be a super user. What does that mean is you are the ultimate owner of the application, so you're going to have a username and password. So by using that you will become the super user, and then as a super user, you can give access to other users as well. Then we are going to understand about the settings file, which is very important for the project. I had shown this in the previous video that the main project file has the settings.py, and we are going to learn more about that in today's video. And then we are going to create a model, and that is going to be the user model. That is, whenever a user wants to register on a website, so obviously the user needs to sign up, right? And using that sign up, once he gets sign up, and then the user can log in to our application. This is what we normally do. So we are going to create that user model, right? So now we will switch to PyCharm, and one by one we are going to learn all these things. Okay, so let us switch to PyCharm now. So here we are inside the PyCharm, and as you can remember in the previous video we had created the AI apps. So this is the AI app project. Inside that we have again the same folder where we have the files like ASGI, settings.py, urls.py. I kind of explained this, and then this is the AI block. This is the app, right? I told you that these are basically modules, right? Nothing more than modules practically. And this particular AI app is going to have the files like admin.py, then apps.py, and not get confused. As I said in the previous video, as the AI blog is just a module, we call that as a app, and then it has its own apps.py file which has nothing but just the configuration of the app. We are not going to deal with this. We are not going to use this file. Okay, so let me just close that, and then we again created AI post. Now in today's video what we are going to do is we are going to start this server. That was the first point we have to cover. So first, come inside that AI apps. That was the main folder. Okay, inside that we have the projects folder and the apps folder, right? So After that, just give a command that is Python. And as I told you, we are going to use that manage.py for every other thing now. So we're going to say manage.py, and I'm going to say the word that is run server. Run server, that is one word, and then press enter. The moment you press enter, okay, it is going to start the server. So basically, as I told, our own computer, this is an offline project. Our own computer is going to act like a server, and it is also going to act like a client. Okay, now this is the server, and now it is showing me the settings like the started development server at 127.0.0.1. So that is the local IP address, right? So if you double click onto this, it is going to show you a screen. So if you cannot see that screen, I will just show you that screen to you in just a moment. And here it is. Okay, so this is the screen that you will see. If you can see the screen, and if you're doing it yourself, if you are able to see the screen, so everything is working fine. Okay, so that's the screen. So installed, worked successfully, congratulations, right? And now we want to start with the admin panel. So I will just show you the admin panel to you. So we have this local address 127.0.0.1, and okay, colon 8000. Just give a slash after that and just type admin. Okay, if you're not able to see that command, I'm just displaying it in front of the screen. So whatever the IP address we had, 127.0.0.1 colon 8000 slash, and then just type the word admin. The moment you type admin and press enter, okay, it is going to give you the admin panel login screen. As you can see over here, it has given me the screen, right? And now I have to enter the username and password, but we do not have any users at this point. So as I said, we are going to create a super user, right? We are going to create a super user, and after that, then we can log into the dashboard. So let's go ahead, and now we will create the super user. So let us switch back to the PyCharm, and then we will create the super user. So now for that, I have to go to, just a minute, I have to go to the terminal, and then I will type a command. And as you can see, we have accessed the admin panel. So these are the requests, as you can see over here. Okay. Now we will create the super user. So for that, first we will stop this server. Now how to stop this server? You have to press the control key and C. So that is cancel. Control plus C. So I'll do that, and then we are again back to the prompt, right? And now let us go ahead and create the super user. Okay, so the command is for the migration Python manage.py make migrations. Okay, make migrations, and it is saying no changes detected. That's completely okay because we haven't added any models, any new models. After that, you just type Python manage.py and then migrate. Okay, once you type that, okay, it will run the migrations and it will show you a lot of commands. Right now it is not showing you the commands, but it's okay. If you run it, it will show you a lot of commands. So almost all we have done the migration part, and now we will be creating the super user. And how to do that? Using Python. So again, I will just go back the two commands, that is Python manage.py make migrations, that's the first one, and then run the command that is Python manage.py migrate. Okay, that is the two commands that you need to run, and then we can create the super user, and that is Python manage.py, and I will say create super user. Okay, create super user, that's one word. Press enter, and now you can see that it is asking me for a user name. You can give any username that you want. Okay, leave blank to use, that is AJPYT, that's the default one. But if you want to create any username, you can give any email ID, any dummy email ID also you can give. So I can simply say, I'll give my email ID, pythoner@gmail.com, right? And then press enter. Not necessary that this email ID should exist. You can use any kind of dummy email ID. Okay. And then that is the username. And now it is asking me for the email. So I will give the same one. So my email ID and the username will be same, gmail.com. Okay, and then it is going to ask me for a password. Now for this particular project, we will keep a very simple password, but this is going to be the super user. So once you go, this goes into the production, so the password should be a very proper password, right? But right now we are just going to give a very simple password, 1 2 3 4 5, and then I will enter it again, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so the okay, it says me that this password is entirely numeric. So bypass password validation and create the user anyway. So I'm going to say yes over here because we want to keep things very simple. But as I said, okay, if this is real project, that is an online project, so you need to create a very good password, right? So I'm going to say yes over here, press enter, and now you can see it has given us the message, right? It has given us the message that is super user created successfully. And now we can actually go to the admin panel and we can log in into the admin panel using these credentials. So let us go to the admin panel and let us see how the dashboard looks like. So here is the admin panel, and now I can use the username and the password that I just created. So the username was my email ID, that is this one, and then the password is 1 2 3 4 5, and then I will click on login, and now you can see it will log in. Okay, there is some error because I did not started the server. So every time you want to access, you need to have a server which should be a running server. So we need to start the server. So let us go back and start the server. So let me just switch back to PyCharm, and then we will start the server, and that is Python manage.py run server. So once we start the server, then we will be able to log in into the account. Okay, so now if I just okay, let me just switch to this one, and now if I just refresh this, okay, and enter, that is the username and the password was 1 2 3 4 5, press enter, and now we are there into the dashboard. As you can see, you are the super user, so you are complete the owner of the application, and these are the groups and the users. Now if you click on users, you can see there is one user, that is a status, is staff status is tick, and it is a super user. Okay, so now what we are going to do in future is like we will have a login screen, and then people will log in and create an account on this application, and then we will have many users over here, right? So this is how we can enter into the admin panel. Okay, and if you want to create a super user by using the dashboard, we can even do that by clicking on add user, and then you can add the username, you can create a password for them and click on save, and it will get saved. Now you have this as a super user, you can do everything, right? But we are not going to use this because we are going to the user will do it through our application. So we will give a sign up form, and the user will sign up through that form, and then the credentials will be stored in our database, right? So this is about how to log in into the admin panel, and then we will move forward with the next point, and that was basically, yeah, understanding the, it's not then, it's understanding the settings.py. Okay, there is a spelling mistake over there. So understanding the settings.py file. So let us go to PyCharm, and then we will understand the settings.py. So what we need to do over here, okay, that's the settings.py. That is the under the project, right? This is the app AI blog, and these are the files inside the blog. We are not going to touch that for now, and we are going to go to the files under the project. Okay. So under the AI apps, we have settings.py. If I double click, and this is going to open right now in front of you. Okay. And you can see this file. It has a lot of settings over here. And what I will do is I will click over here. That is the structure part. If I click at the structure part, it's over here at the bottom. Okay, so this basically shows the different section of the file of the document. So first is the base directory. So if you know, this is the base directory, that will be the root directory of your project. Okay, then we have the secret key. Every Django project will have a secret key, and this key is a secret key, so it should not to be shared when it's under the production. This is very, very important key. Okay, so we're not going to deal with that, just it has to be there. Okay, and then we have the debug section, then the allowed host. Now there are no other allowed host because this is an offline project. We only have the local host that we are going to work with. But if you take this to online, then we need to have the domain name. So whatever domain name you have, abc.com, so that has to be specified over here. Okay, under the allowed host, which is a list. Okay, then this is important, that is the installed apps. As you can see, there are so many apps that are, these are the default apps installed by the Django. And what did we do? We also created our own app. So we have to specify our app as well. So under this installed apps list, we are going to type our own the app. We need to register that with the Django. That is the name of our app was AI blog. So we need to specify it over here. Okay, let me just check the name of our app. As you can see, that's AI blog. So you can just come over here, and then under the single quotes, we can type the name of the app, that is AI blog, and just give a comma over here. And that's it. Now we have registered our own app, and now we can start using this app. Okay. So now we are going to understand about creating the user model. User model means when the user will register on the application. So obviously we need to register that user. So that is the user. Now Django has its own user. Just now we created a super user, right? And we gave the credentials, that is the username, the email ID, and the password, which means the user table is already been created in the database, and it has some basic fields. So we will just go through the fields, and these are the default fields. Okay, that is ID, which is going to be the primary key. Now if you are someone who okay, it is expected that you have some basic knowledge about the database, so ID is going to be the primary key. Username, we have given the username, right? So username is there, first name field is there, okay, last name is there. These are optional, but username is must, email is must, and password is but obvious it is must. And then is staff, if the user is a staff of the application or not. Then if the user account is active, we can activate and deactivate any account with this particular field. Then if the user is a super user, so since I am the super user, so it will be ticked over there. These are all boolean fields, basically yes, no. Okay, and then the last time the user has logged in, and the date the user created the account on the application. So these are some of the basic default fields for the user. But if I am building an application and I want some more fields, so I can add those fields to this particular table, right? And how to do that? We can do it through Django, and for that we will be creating models. And after creating the models, we will be using the migration command for migrating, for making the changes to that table. So we will add some more fields. So as a user, now since my application, our application is about AI blog, so this blog is will be created automatically using the OpenAI. So we are going to use a credit system in this application. So once the user creates an account, so we will give certain around maybe 1 lakh words of credit back to the user. I hope you're getting this. So if once I create an account, so it will be absolutely free to register on the website, and the user will get a credit pack of 1 lakh words. So the user can generate the content around 1 lakh words of content free of cost, after which the user have to buy the credit pack. Now this is how the AI application, our web application, is going to work basically. So we need to keep track of that credit pack as well. Okay, so we need to add some more fields to this particular table. So let us go ahead, let us create a model, add some more fields. So what we are going to do, we are going to use inheritance. So we will inherit the user which is already present into a new, we will create a new class, inherit the user, and then add some new fields to this particular table. So let's go to PyCharm and do it. So here we are inside the PyCharm, and then we will go to the AI blog, which is the app that we have just registered in the settings.py, and you can see models.py. Okay, now this is the default code that we have. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy paste the code over here to save time. Okay, and then I will just explain you what we are doing over here. Now I just said that we are going to inherit the user, but okay, I just thought that it won't be a good idea to have to add more fields in the same table. But what we will do is we will create a new table for the credit pack. Okay, so what we are doing over here is, obviously this is a default one that will be always present, so we need to import the models, and then from django.contrib.auth models, we are going to import the user. This is the default table in the database where we basically created the super user, right? And what we are going to do is we are going to create a class, and the name of the class that I've given is user profile. And you can see that's the way to basically inherit the model, that is models dot model. Okay, you need to keep it as it is. Then there are three fields that I'm creating. That is, the first one is the user. So to the user I'm saying models, so that's the module that we are using, models dot one to one field. Why? Because this is going to be the ID, this is going to be the unique user. So whatever the user we have created, it is going to be the same user over here. Please understand this. Okay, so that is going to be one to one field. So that is basically a primary key, you can say that. Okay, and then I'm saying the next field that I want is the credits. Now credits, as you can see, models dot, that is going to be an integer number, and by default you can see that I've kept it as 1 lakh. So whenever user will create an account on our application, he or she will get 1 lakh of credit pack, 1 lakh words of credit pack absolutely free. So the user can generate the content of around 1 lakh. We can change this to 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs, because the open AI, the API service is now very affordable, very cheap, right? In just around zero point 0.5 you are getting around 10 lakhs of credit by the OpenAI. So we can also make this as 5 lakhs. So it will be very lucrative for the user, that the user can create around 5 lakh words of content free of cost on the application by using the application, right? And then the third field is created at. So what we will just note the date and the time when the user basically created the account. Okay, so anyway, that is there in the user itself, but we will also keep this field in the this particular table itself. Okay, and why? Maybe it makes a lot of sense, we will come to know in the future. So this is the credit. So these are the three fields that we added, and then we have a method, that is the str method. So if you create an object of this user profile, and if you just print that object, what is going to print? The username. Okay, if you want, we can change this as well. So this is what we have created. So we created first table, that is user profile, because we want the credit system in our application. And now, since this is a new table, what we need to do, Every time you create a new table, you make some changes, you add something, we have to run the migrations. So let us go ahead and we are going to run the migrations. Okay. So to do the migrations, what we have to do is we need to come to the command prompt. So you need to stop the server. Okay, that is Control plus C. The server will get disconnected, and then you will back to the command prompt, and then we will run the command. The two commands that I said, that is Python manage.py make migrations. This is the same command that we had used, right? So every time you create a new model or you make certain changes, then every time we need to run this migration command. Okay, so first one is make migrations, and then you will say Python manage.py and migrate. Okay, I have already migrated the tables. Okay, but it will show you certain messages to you if you're migrating it for the first time. So the two commands is make migrations, and the second is migrate. Python space manage.py make migrations and then migrate. So every time you have a new model, you have to run these two commands. Now about the database, we have created the super user, right? But where is the database? We are not connected to any external database, but we are using the default database of the Django, that is SQLite. Now this is the default database that we have. It is very lightweight and it is very fast, and since we are working on an offline mode, we can use this database. There is no need for us to complicate things unnecessarily and to connect to MySQL. Once we take this project to online mode, then we need a better database system, that is the MySQL. So we will connect that to the MySQL. But at this point, since we are working on an offline mode, this is also a very good database. But if there is a lot of data that we need to store on our application, so obviously if you are into production, if your application goes into production, then we are supposed to use the other database system. That is the most famous one is MySQL. Okay. So that's the database. Now we have created this user profile. We have done the migrations. And now if you want to see this table into the admin panel, so we need to first register that. Now how to register that is going to the file that is admin.py. And you can see it says, by default, it is saying over here, register your models over here. So let us go ahead and register the user profile which we have just created, and we will register here. Then in the admin panel, we can see this table. Okay, so let me just register it over here. Okay, just a small error that we did, and that was I basically registered this user profile under the AI post. Now that is the another app that we registered, that is AI blog, and this is another app that is AI post. But right now we are working with AI blog, so I just copied and pasted it in the same in the right app. Okay, and now what we need to do is stop the server. First thing is by pressing the key Control plus C, and then we need to run the server again, that is Python manage.py run server. So restart the server. After we restart the server, okay, that was manage.py, and now we need to restart the server. So I will click on that IP number, and then we will go to, okay, let me just go to that particular IP number that is over here. Okay, so let me just show you that screen. That is this one, right? And now what will I do is I will just in the URL slash admin. And since I'm already logged in, so it is come to the dashboard, and you can see that AI block app and the user profile that is displayed in the panel, right? So if I click over there and click on add new profile, you can see add a user, and then the credits, you can see that is 1 lakh number, that is 1 lakh of credit, which words of credit that we are going to give to the user, and that's the reason we have it over here. So I hope you got some idea today. Slowly things will get easy. This is the initial phase. So once we go on to designing the HTML and then start developing the application, things will get easy. But this is the initial phase, and if you're new to Django, so just follow this tutorial step by step. You will be able to get everything done. Any issues if you have, please comment it in the comment section. You can post the questions and you can ask me, and I will surely help you out in that. Okay, so this is what we have for today. In the next video we are going to move forward with our project. Okay, so please, if you feel that I'm giving you real content, do like to my channel, share, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.